Hi, Jim Williams here, and we're doing an installment series here on how to play better golf on the golf course. And so to play better golf on the golf course, you got to start on the range and you got to warm up properly. There's nothing harder than zooming to the golf course, running to the first tee and teeing off. You'll have horrible tempo, you'll be rushing around, and you're going to probably not be ready to play your best because you're going to be hurrying and you're not going to warm up properly. So this is important. And I feel like there's two big elements of warming up. One is the physical or the dynamic warm-up of your body, and the other is sort of working through your clubs and warming up your golf swing on the range. So we're going to talk about those two things today. So from a dynamic warm-up point of view, now I'm a TPI guy, so I'm all about the fitness, and I believe strongly in doing dynamic stuff to warm up. So not static stretching, so not just standing here like this, but doing things that churn up the body heat, okay, and get your energy revving. So what I would say is if you've been sitting a long time, you drove a long way to the golf course, walk around for 5 or 10 minutes, okay, and get your legs loose. But once you get on the range, here's a real quick 2 minutes of what I like to do. I like to take a couple of clubs and do what I call a dynamic kind of a squat, okay? I like to hold the club up and just do a bunch of up and downs like this, maybe 15 or 20 of those like that. If I really crank that going, I get my glutes kicked in, I get my core going, and I actually sometimes get out of breath a little bit, but it really warms up my body. What I do next is I like to do a dynamic sort of a lunge pattern. So nothing more than just lunging forward, going in, coming back. You can actually work on balance. Heck, you can even do some rotations over your front leg. Really standard stuff, you know, but I love this. So it's in, back, and so on. Now I'm getting some rotation going as well. Now the next thing I would do is do something for your shoulders, kind of like when you were a kid in gym class. Do some arm circles, okay? This is great for your shoulder joint, your rotator cuff, things like that. You can go thumbs down, circles this way, thumbs up, circles this way. You can do bigger circles, smaller circles. Your shoulders are going to feel it, trust me. Go through some arm circle progressions. I would recommend a couple other major areas to work on, okay? Number one would be your hips. So one of the easiest ways to warm up your hips is just to hold the clubs out like this, get set up and practice turning your belt buckle to the target and behind the ball. We call this a hip twister, okay? Hip twister is turn to the right, turn to the left. When you turn to the left, let the leg straighten a little bit, feel your weight shift a little bit, just like you would in a golf swing, okay? Going back as well, so we're going to get some rotational mobility going here. The other area I would tell you to work on will be your spine, your upper spine. So you can work on some rotations like this, and this is certainly nothing uncommon. Right? Most of us do this on one way or the other, but I think if you do it the right way, you stabilize your lower body and really feel more of the rotation in your spine, just like this. So we're going to work on our thoracic mobility, which is really the key to rotation in the upper body. So we're turning and we're rotating, and you can do 10 or 12 reps of these 5 or 6 exercises. This is a great warm-up because it gets your body moving. Now, what I would say then to do next is go ahead and grab a wedge. So now you're on the range, going to walk up like this, and I would not personally recommend just taking full swings right away. I think everybody's a little different. People have different opinions on this, but I like to start off just hitting some easy shots, just little wedges, just like this. I like to see the first couple of balls kind of jump up in the air, you know, hit a few good shots, get the feeling of the center of the club hitting the ball, just like this, little 40, 50-yard shots. I might hit 7 or 8 of those, something like that. And again, I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker to make my point. Then I'll work into sort of a 3/4 wedge. You know, just get the feeling going. Then I might go ahead, maybe hit 5 or 6 of those. Maybe I'll grab an 8-iron, something like that. Maybe I'll hit my pitch and wedge too, but for the purpose of this video, I'll just go to an 8-iron. Work on my grip, make sure my grip's good and solid. Kind of bend from my hips. I'm always checking my posture too. That's the thing for those of you at home. Don't be careless with your fundamentals. You know, you always want to have good posture angles, good sort of centered balance, things like that. So when you get into shots on the range, practice taking your stance just like you would on the golf course. Bend forward, get set up. Good and solid there, felt good. Building some confidence here. Nice little draw, that's just what I'm looking for. So maybe I'll hit a couple of 8-irons. And my thing with the range is if I'm hitting it good, I don't hit that many, okay? If I hit a couple of good 8-irons, a couple of good 5-irons, a couple of good drivers, and I'm feeling loose, I'm not gonna keep hitting until I get a bad pattern going. I'm gonna go chip, and I'm gonna go putt, okay? So if I'm feeling good, I'm gonna minimize it and just get the feeling right, and I'm gonna move on. So now we're going to a 5-iron. the feeling going here. Got a little ahead of that, so I'm going to hit another one. And again, the thing about the range that I think is helpful to all of you is you don't need to be perfect on the range. That's number one. Number two, I wouldn't overanalyze your golf swing on the range. Sure, you can have a couple of keys, that you're working on. Maybe you're working on coiling, maybe getting your shoulder behind the ball or setting your hands the right way, something like that. That's fine to have a feel. But the primary purpose of the range is to warm up, okay? So you want to get the swing moving, get it going. There's one, right in the middle of the face. I like that. I mean, you hear tour players all the time talk about, oh, I had a horrible session on the range, couldn't do anything, and then it just came together on the golf course. Well, that can certainly happen. Unfortunately, the opposite can happen too, right? You can warm up awesome, play terribly, so you never know. The bottom line is, when you're on the range, get warmed up. Get the swing moving, get the heart rate up, get going so you can play a good round of golf. All right, so I went to a 5-iron. I might hit a 3-wood or a hybrid also. But I'll go ahead now and jump up to the driver to finish up here. Hit a couple of big dogs. Love that one there, real solid. Good high launch, just what I like. What I might do there is maybe hit a couple, and then let's say the first hole is a little dog leg left to right, okay? I love to play holes the way they're designed. So if I've got a little dog leg left to right, I'm going to try to hit a cut, okay? That suits my eye better. You play the hole the way it's created. So maybe my first hole is a little dog leg left to right. I'm going to try to hit a cut here as my last tee shot before I head up to the first tee. So we're going to aim the club a little left of my landing spot, hopefully. Swing a little more left of that. Perfect. A nice little 10, 12-yard cut. Just the shot I'm looking for. So now I feel like I've gone through my bag and I've really warmed up and done what I want to do to get myself ready to play well. Now clearly you're going to want to allow a little bit of time to go up to the putting green, chip, pitch, and putt the ball. But once you allow for that and give yourself maybe 30, 45 minutes before a round if you can, that's going to really help you prepare to play better on the course that day. So give yourself some time to warm up properly, and I know you're going to play better. Good luck.